No one needs me to kick figurative dirt over the figurative grave of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They do plenty of that themselves up there. To themselves and to their own team and to their own players. So I won't. Well, at least not all that much. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. The Stanley Cup playoffs and the conference championships resume tonight. That'll be between the Panthers and the Hurricanes. I'm not really looking forward to that series, just because I really can't stand watching Carolina play. But you know who enjoys it? Coaches. Coaches love that stuff. They love seeing a team that's that disciplined, that has the puck all the time, that makes nothing but smart plays, that finds a way to win it back, that does just enough on special teams that you can justify the lack of risk in other situations. Not me. I'm sorry. Give me a team like the Panthers that's got some soul to it, some blood and guts, you know? But anyway, this round will proceed without the Maple Leafs, because this round always proceeds without the Maple Leafs, who have not even made it to a Stanley Cup final since it was a 6-team league in 1967. And yet, people still follow them up there. They follow them with gusto. I was about to say passion, but I can't call what it is that they do passion. Passion is what you see with European soccer supporters, who will cheer and sing for their team even in the most down times, even in the most down in-game situations, hoping to inspire something. In Toronto, they booed these guys off the ice in the second period of a Game 7 after their boys had rallied to win Game 6 in Sunrise to force the Game 7. Process that for a second, and then graft onto it people throwing their jerseys on the ice, people booing the team as it came together after the game to do one of those, line up around the center ice circle and raise your sticks to the crowd thing. Did that, they got booed for it. And afterward, much to their credit, I thought, 3 members of the Panthers spoke publicly about the incredible, and not at all, by the way, commendable pressure under which players are asked to play in that particular market. They think it's kind of a cute thing, like an honor thing. Well, yeah, if you're tough enough to play in Toronto. They're brutal. They're brutal. They were putting videos out on social media of burning their sweaters, like one after the other, of current players, literally lighting them on fire. That's not cute or adorable or anything. It's awful. Brad Marchand brought it up. You would expect that he'd be that type. Matthew Tkachuk brought it up. You would expect that he'd be that type. And Paul Maurice preemptively admonished a group of Toronto reporters, because their media is really not much different than anything I'm describing to you here, and said, listen, I know whatever it is that I'm going to say here won't do any good, but you're going to kill these guys over this. The whole city's going to kill these guys over this. And all they did was force the defending champions to a Game 7 and have a pretty even first period with us, and then we scored a few goals, and then that was that. That's just hockey. But listen, I promised I wasn't going to. Listen, it made me wonder what it's like here in Pittsburgh, because we're long, long ways removed from being, some new kid on the block when it comes to hockey. It's now been here, including in participatory form, for a long, long time. Hockey runs through our blood here in this city. But how are the fans here? Like, what's the pressure like? Is it too heavy? Is it too light? That's what I started throwing around in my head. My first reflexive feel on this is that the fans can be too light. But my problem with that is that because I'm working these games and I'm in the press box, I'm with these same 17,000, 18,000 people, and they don't necessarily represent all of fandom. it takes a pretty penny to get into that building. So in that process, you lose some of the whole blue-collar feel that used to be a lot more prevalent at the old Civic Arena. My next feel on it is, okay, but these are the same people that basically chanted Ron Hextall and Brian Burke out of town. More Hextall than Burke, but Burke went with them. And that was a heck of a thing. It ended up becoming an inspiration for people over at the football stadium to chant Matt Canada out of town. This also was the group, and again, I'm talking about in arena, that really got nasty with the power play, not this past season, but the previous season when it was grossly underperforming. The players were aware of it, the players felt it, the players expressed some feelings on it. And lest we forget, just this past season, I am certain that the crowds had plenty to do with Tristan Jarry getting sent to the minors because the Penguins no longer felt he could function at PPG Paints Arena. They'd reached the point where they were just going to start him on the road. And at the same time, the team finishes on a nice little 10-5-2 run. The team brings up a couple of key youngsters in Ville Koivunen and Rutger McGroarty, and the Penguins did their own raising of the sticks to the crowd after that regular season finale. And they got cheered, and they got really cheered. They got themselves a standing O. You can call me myopic or a homer on this count. I really don't care. I'm born and raised here. My feel on Pittsburgh fans, and I really don't see the hockey fans as an outlier in this regard. They're younger than either of the fans of the other two teams, but there's still so much overlap. It's Pittsburgh, same city, same first name, same set of colors. I feel as if Pittsburgh fans, including the Penguins fans, are fair. They have high expectations. They have really high expectations when it comes to investing their own hard-earned dollars into the product, and they're not going to go if you stink. They're not going to go there and torment you. They're just not going to go. But if Pittsburgh fans see a plan and they see something coming together and they see at least some beginnings of results, they're going to get behind you. But even when they're mad, they're not going to be unfair. Think about the things that I mentioned. Hextall had it coming. That power play had it coming. Jarry and all those first shot goals allowed, he had it coming. But nobody did any of this other goofiness, lighting jerseys on fire and whatever. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Today's J1Q comes from Michael up in Gatineau, Quebec. Says, hi DK, I always love the show. Since we're in the off season, it's time for some hypotheticals. I know that Bryan Rust is signed until 2028. He's an invaluable, understated player for the team. And if he were a free agent on the 1st of July, there would be huge interest from other teams. But outside of the Penguins circles in Pittsburgh, I really never hear anyone talking about him other than as Sidney Crosby's line mate. Do you feel his value is recognized NHL-wide? You know, Michael, I'm not going to lie to you. I've covered the man's entire career, and I've felt forever that he's underappreciated, mostly because of his trajectory. If you think about it, when the Penguins were on their biggest stage as champions in 2016 and 2017, Rust was, just as Jake Gensel was and other young guys that they had up at the time, kind of pushed to the back of the process. You know, everything was about, obviously Sid and Gino and the HBK line and, everything else related to the main guys. So as Rust progressed, and Mike Sullivan said not that long ago, just a couple months ago, that he had never seen a player progress individually as Rust has into an offensive, highly skilled scorer. And I'm not going to lie, the only other name that comes to mind for me in that category was Pascal Dupuis. Yes, I thought about it. But you want to know when it really hit me? When that Four Nations roster was being put together, the United States team obviously had all kinds of depth. Just remember that in the championship game, US versus Canada, Sullivan made Kyle Connor of Winnipeg a healthy scratch. Seemingly unthinkable, certainly as it relates to American teams in international tournaments of years past. But what got me was that Rust never even came up in conversations about forwards who should make that team, even though Sullivan was the head coach. Now, whether or not Sullivan went to bat for him, I don't know. Remember that Sullivan was part of that, but so was Billy Guerin. Heck, Billy G was the general manager of the team. He had the final calls. And it's not like Billy G doesn't appreciate and love Rust as well. Didn't matter. Nobody anywhere brought him up. So to me, that really was the defining case for Rust being grossly underappreciated. He's a 30-goal scorer and a really good passer and a diligent, not always super effective, but a diligent defensive forward, conscientious, a leader, everything that you'd want, and never even got mentioned. And I'm going to be honest, that's one of the many reasons that a lot of people you could see inside the Penguins world were so happy for Rust to end up getting the milestones that he got this past season. He broke through 30, finally, 30 goals, after having come so close in previous years and having fallen short mostly because he would put his body at risk and end up missing games to injury. Wonderful hockey player. Wonderful hockey player. Want to know what else he is? He's a Pittsburgh Penguin. I'm borrowing from Sullivan there, but he's not the only one who's felt that way. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Penguins. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow. Enjoy the conference championship starting tonight.